Good morning. I'm Grandpa with Grandpa Shines Celtic Whiskey. And today we're going to do basically step 3 in making our Irish whiskey. Um, so it's been a couple of days since my last video. It's been raining. It's still kind of wet out here. So I've kind of held off a little bit. But my house brownies, however you want to pronounce it, got their work done, and they left this for me, and we'll get it out and see what we have here. Right there. So they've got them numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we're gonna have to stack them up here. 5, 6, 7, 8, and finally 9, which they have marked tails. So that's out of that 4.5 gallons of beer, and then I added basically a quart of faints that I had from other projects. So we came out pretty good on this, having basically 8 pints and some faints, whatever some faints, some tails that we can use next time. We'll just dump it in and go again. Maybe get something out of it, maybe not. Well, all we can do is see. So we're going to set this one aside for now. We're going to deal with these 8. So what we're basically at now is tasting, making our cuts. What do we want this stuff to taste like? So we're going to start with, line them all up here. Well, that's good enough for now. We'll start with number 1 and see what we have here. It has a little bit of that headsy smell to it. So I'm wondering if they didn't cut off the heads a little soon. Well, a quick taste. Not bad. A little, being the first one off, the ABV is really high on it, so doesn't taste too headsy. It doesn't taste like turpentine or paint thinner. Let's take a look at number 2 here. Actually, I should get something out here to clean my palate. Otherwise, the first one's gonna influence the rest of them. But it is what it is. We'll go with what we got. So this is pint number 2, and it's smelling halfway decent. Little high on the alcohol content yet. Yeah, that little bit of headsy taste is gone. Headsy smell is pretty much gone. So I know that these 3 are going to be good, because they're going to be right in the middle of the hearts. What's going to get interesting is when we get down in close to the tails here and see what we got. So let's take a look at jar number 6. and see what we have here. Yeah, see now that's getting some of the flavor, some of the, I guess call it flavor, the smell of what you want in a good Irish whiskey. Yeah. Exactly, that is got, this is my favorite part of what comes off the still, is kind of towards the end. It's not quite tails yet, but you're picking up more flavor from your beer that you run through the still. This is where this is the flavor. This number 1 is got the kick to it. Number 6 has flavor to it. Yeah, that's good. Good stuff. A little early in the morning for drinking, but I'm just tasting. Don't want to taste too much. So here's number 7. A little bit more tailsy. I shouldn't say tailsy. A little bit more flavor, I guess. I don't know what you would call a smell when you're getting there, when you get what you want. But that's got a good smell to it. Good taste to it too. I could drink that without even aging it. That's darn good. And then this last one, number 8, still kind of pre-tails. It's not getting grungy yet. The flavor is starting to, not really tails, but just kind of getting close. So I can see why after this one they went to straight tails, because this one is kind of, is almost pre-tails. And so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and use, we're going to hold off on number 1. We're going to wait and see, but we're going to mix these into here, because I know these are all good. They have good flavor. So we'll just do the old dumperoo. And lastly, number 2. All right, let's give that a little shake, get it mixed up real good. Take a look at what we got as far as bubbles wise. Bubbles look like it's probably about right to go ahead and age it as it is, but we're going to double check and make sure. So I'm going to get my alchemeter out. Actually, you know what? All together. Well, it's got a good alcohol smell to it. Let's see where we're at. Come on. Where we're at. I'm making a mess here. It's falling apart on me. The reason I want to know where I'm at is because you need a certain ABV. Yeah, I'm gonna have to pour some in my beaker here. Try not to get spilled too much. If you've got a real high ABV and you go to age it, basically alcohol is a solvent. So you put wood in it or you put it in a barrel, and the higher the alcohol content, the more it extracts the oils, the tannins out of the wood, which you might think would be good, but it really isn't. You don't want too much. And kind of a rule of thumb that several of us go by is, for a whiskey, you want it 50 to 60% alcohol, or 100 to 120 proof for aging. And right there, according to this, I'm sitting at, let's see, 60, 59, 58, 57% alcohol. That's going to be 110, 112, about 112 proof, something like that. So I think we're good there. Now, this, do we want to put all of it in? Do we want to put some of it in? That is where the artistic side and the by guess and by gosh comes in. Because right now I'm real happy with the flavor I'm getting off of that. Let's put some of it in. Okay? Yeah, let's put about half of it in. That's going to bring our ABV up slightly, because this is usually the strongest. Let's just see where we were at with this. Oh yeah. See, we're up here at 69, 8, about 67% alcohol, or 134 proof or thereabouts. Huh. Let's see if this is still. See if it still has decent flavor. Yeah, we've got a little more alcohol smell to it. Excuse me, yeah. Taste-wise, it's still good. I don't think I want to do any more of that. This is going to go into the next batch as faints, because it's just a little bit headsy. So I use these terms, you know, heads, tails, foreshots. Now, foreshots is the first thing that comes off the still. Anytime you you're distilling anything really, uh, there's always a little wood alcohol in it, or methyl alcohol, which that's the stuff, man, that will eat your lunch. I mean, it'll give you a splitting headache. It's a poison. You don't want to touch it. But fortunately, that is the first thing that comes off on the still, because it has a lower boiling point, if you will. I forget the exact number, but it's down around 140, 145 degrees that it actually starts to boil off. And so that comes off before the regular alcohol, regular ethyl, not ethyl, methyl, no, I've got it backwards. Regular ethyl alcohol, which is drinkable. The boiling point on that is what? I think it's like 172 or something like that. So the 4 shots is the very first little bit that you get off the still. Fruit has a whole lot more wood alcohol in it than just grains. You'd still get some grains. Now the brownies told me they kept 10 ounces of 4 shots and heads, and then they started saving. So 10 ounces is not quite a full jar here. Probably would have been better if they went with 12 to 16 ounces, a full jar of 4 shots and heads. That way I wouldn't have to recycle that. So here we are. We've got basically 3/4 of a gallon. Not too bad. So the next step really is start the aging process. I've kind of predid it. Proper English here. So I don't put it in a barrel like your normal distillers do and let it set for 3 years on up to 20, 30 years. Yeah, I don't have that long. So I kind of do a fast age and in the jar. So what I've done is, now I get white oak from where I used to work, where I retired from. They get pallets made out of white oak. So I go over and grab a pallet every now and then and cut it up, and I use the white oak pallet wood. And then I char it with my little torch. There we go. So we got 2 oak going in. And then, actually, I like to put a little maple in. So this is 1 stick of maple that I got. Now my other hardwoods I get, local cabinet shop. The foreman of the cabinet shop is a whiskey aficionado. So I trade him. I trade him out a pint of my whiskey for scraps from the cabinet shop. And so I get maple, I get some cherry, I get maybe a little red oak, other things. This is maple. So I took a chunk of it, charred it, that'll go in. And then finally, same thing, a little bit of cherry. And that just kind of adds a little extra something at the end. So that goes in. Seal it up. And there we go. Now we just have to wait and work with it a little bit. What I do is I know you probably seen where the guys heat it up in the microwave and then stick it in the deep freeze and then heat it in the microwave and but no, not me. I like a little bit slower method. So I'll take this, because it's getting into fall here and winter time, it's going to be take a little longer, but I'll take this and just put it out in the garage. So it gets cold at night, mid temperatures during the day. Now if the sun's out, I'll actually take it and set it out in the sun like a sun tea type of thing, and let it sun hit it and warm it up that way. And so it takes 2, 3, 4 weeks to really age well. And then after it's got a good color, it's got a good flavor to it, I'll take it, put it in smaller jars and set it in the window. That's kind of the last step before we actually sit down and drink it. So this is where we're at right now. We've got it aging. I'll go put it out in the garage. And I kind of like having it like 3/4 of a gallon, because that gives me room when I go to proof this down. After it's aged, I'll proof it down to somewhere between 80 and 85 proof, or 40 to 45, actually, well, 40, 42, 43 percent alcohol. And so that gives me room for water, and it takes a little time for that water to incorporate. So there again, I will proof it down, kind of like I did with my very first video I showed you. Proofed it down, bottle it up, and let it set in the window for a couple of weeks. And that is what we're at right now, is basically step 3. Step 4 is proofing it down, bottling it, which I kind of already did, and actually it shows at step 1, but that was with my regular Celtic whiskey, not a Irish style. So same process. So I think we're done. I'll get things picked up here and we'll get out of here. All right.